So loud. It's so loud. Masked off then?
See, this we complain about text, but we all know who the problem is.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Tex, easy.
There we go.
Easy, Texy.
Protecting Dad.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
That's Tracy. Alright, what's our intro? We've got an intro, Chum. Okay. Well, my name's Alex, obviously. People probably know me now from the IPTVs, but I've usually been, I suppose, somewhat on the other side of the camera, and Nate's sort of been in front. I run production, I run our creative team, I run all of our design. Yeah, that's probably it. Obviously co-founder of IPTV as well.
And then what are you, Jerry? Nate?
Nate.
Jerry.
I am on that one.
I'm the other side on that one.
And that one.
Well, we could play a game of Spot Who, like...
Yeah, Spot Who, Joe.
That's Alex, surely. That's Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Production manager, creative director, and co-founder. That's my rap. 6'3", 96 kilo. We're going through bench stats.
No, I'm going to go Nate now.
Okay.
He needs to get all the limelight to make up for 9 years.
Yeah.
Not being in front of it.
9 years behind.
So obviously I'm Nate, or Jerry Swinefeld, as a lot of everyone knows me. I'm obviously also co-founder of IPTV. I guess you'd say I'm in charge of sales. Kind of, I'm probably the person you've talked to from IPTV in the past.
For 10 years straight.
10 years
What'd you
straight.
pay her?
10 years straight of asking people when their payday is. Obviously, I'm one of the guys that skates. I handle a bit of the design with Alex, but not as much. It's more kind of I give the input based off what I get feedback from the customers. I guess you'd say I wear a lot of different hats behind the scenes, like all the HR, admin, payroll, financial stuff I run as well. Yeah, I mean, that's it, really. I mean, we both do kind of everything that there is to do in a business.
Yeah. You've got to know every job role before you can train other people how to do it. So, yeah, more or less we've done pretty much everything this business and brand is sort of required of us.
There was days where we used to dispatch.
Yep.
We used to have to put everything down, and we'd have to be the ones that go downstairs and dispatch stuff.
Yep, ship out all the orders.
And we were the original sewers. I was the original, like, cutter or whatever. And I was the cutter and the overlocker, and Alex would do all the fine handwork with the sewing. And it's just kind of evolved from there.
So, you two are brothers?
Correct. Yeah, sorry, we're brothers.
We're brothers. This is a garage in the western suburbs that we bought off our mum for $500. And the stock that you see there, we bought for the other $500. $500 was mine, $500 was Nate's. So $1,000 to get this thing started.
A lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
So when were these photos taken? 2010
through to, we were in that workshop till 2011, 2012.
Yeah, I think we got the toddy place in 2012.
Yeah, so we'd have done two years out of what, 3x4 meter garage space?
3x5 maybe. With
just us and Liam, one of the first employees. He was helping us with cutting and all the bespoke custom work. Us, Liam,
I'll go get
a whole bunch of my mates were helping with sewing. Some days there were 5, 6, 7 blokes in like a 3x4 meter little garage space, all with balaclavas on, obviously. Yeah, it was mayhem. It was hectic.
So you're in the garage from what, 2010 to 2012?
Yeah.
And then you moved to the first pen, Tottenham.
Yep. Then we moved to the factory in Tottenham. Had a lot of sort of our original customers will remember us in
Toddy. Yeah, the fridge.
That was the coldest place on earth.
That was like
no sun.
Yeah, that was hell. That was like that whole thing about, if hell was an icebox, that was it.
That was the worst place in the world.
No. I just remember the no windows.
It was dark. We were looking at videos the other day, and it was just pitch black in there, and it was probably 1, 2 p.m. and it was just black.
You'd come in at work at we'd get there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you'd leave at 6, and it was just like...
Yeah, it was grim.
It was grim.
This workshop was probably better, to be honest. It was at least funner. So we probably did what, 3, 4 years?
Mum bringing us like food and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. We were young then, you know. I was 18, 19, you were 21, 22.
Not even, I was like 20, 21.
Just having fun, yeah. But yeah, Tottenham was a different story. That was a different beast.
So backing it up again, how did you like get into Mum's garage? Why were you just like, oh, let's start making jumpers? How did that come around?
I mean, we were living in Japan at the time in 2009, 2010. So I was a snowboard instructor, and Alex.
That was a bum.
You were a bum. Somehow you managed to score that Huckabee ticket to all the resorts for free.
Yeah,
I did all the work.
Free.
I paid the rent.
Season.
The guy, it was like that was.
Oh no! I had to paint his. I had to paint his. I had to paint his restaurant, his kiosk thing. That's
so if you ever been
painted this restaurant.
If you ever been to the Roots Cafe at the bottom of Hapo One, right next to Evergreen, and you ever saw like these tall kind of gangly. What were they? Potato creatures?
They were characters and caros, and I had to do their menu, and I had to it was a cafe, so I had to do their food menu, their drinks menu, and all these characters, and I just basically painted his joint, and then somehow out of that, which was like I don't know, a day's work, 2 days work, I got like a $1,500 lift ticket for the season.
Well, and you paid
rent.
Yeah, you got barely. I don't think you paid rent.
No, and rent.
Jesus.
So I got the best ride out of just painting this bloke's cafe.
Somehow we just managed to rustle it up. We were like, and you just never, because they put us, because they were mainly based on the main hill, which is Hapo One, and we got stationed at Goyu, which was the other one. And he just didn't kind of, one day he must have figured out, oh, there's this kid here that's got this free pass that's there for the other instructor that never came, and
yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, so we're living in Hakuba, Japan, and then
I started making those beanies.
You started crocheting beanies at night.
One of the snowboard instructors was doing it, so then she taught me how to do it. I kind of stole it. Didn't steal the idea. I just kind of thought, well, why don't we start making these things? People really liked enjoying picking their colours, and then I just started making these beanies, and I don't know how. I remember every week we would go to the supermarket because. In Japan, the dairy's so expensive, it's cheaper to buy ice cream. So we would get our dairy from the ice cream because the milk was so expensive. So remember we'd go get the ice creams every week, and then every week I'd be fizzing to get the latest colour that they released in the wool.
In the wool.
So I'd make new colours in the beanies.
And then we'd make beanies that were like the colours of the ice creams that were copying in Japan because they had like the wackest colourways of ice creams. So then we're making beanies to line up with ice cream flavours. And then they were custom for everyone we were living with. And then by the time we came back home, there was just this transition from like making these panelled, they were always 3 panels of colour.
Wasn't that one hanging up there?
Yeah, because ice cream blocks you get, 3 strips of colour. So we'd make these 3 panels, and then we came back, and then I just started turning the beanie 3 panels into hoodies.
Yeah, because that's
why I was starting ones.
What about that left side there?
3 panels. Yeah, these are like ice cream colorways and stuff like that. So
remember we'd get the stock from this. We bought this discontinued stock from our current manufacturer that we're using now.
Super old, like completely dead stock colours.
Yeah, they couldn't sell it.
Teals and reds and skies. Like we just thought they were the freshest colours. So we just bought all this dead stock from a local manufacturer who we're still with today, and we just started slicing and bespoke custom.
So you sliced the jumper in half, and you had a top and a bottom, right? And you just put them wherever. And then what I was in charge in the garage of was, I would make these middle panels. So I'd get big rolls of fabric layered on our crappy little table. I knew all the measurements. I knew what I needed based off how big we wanted to make it, based off the sizes. And I'd make these tubes, and I'd overlock them up, and then I'd stitch the overlock tube into the middle and match it with a top and a bottom. And then we put it in, and then we could only make crews. We could never make hoods. We didn't know how to make hoodies. And then we figured out how to make a hoodie panel.
A whole bunch of them will be like crew necks with like a hoodie sewn into the crew. They won't actually be like a proper overlocked hoodie.
So how did you find like a market to sell these hoods to? Like who?
Friends. We had friends, I suppose. Our mates backed us from the start. Like they kind of supported. I mean, it was obviously, in the western suburbs, so it was a localised area. word got out that we were making sort of custom hoodies and custom crew necks, and everyone was just pretty down to be involved. A whole bunch of my mates were helping with sewing, helping with cutting, and then they were the first customers, they were the first buyers, and then it just spread like wildfire for the first 2 years.
So at the start, every piece was one-on-one?
Everything was a one-on-one. We would even make, custom name tags for, there's probably customers watching this right now, like these will be their names. And then we had this idea that all of our photography, we wanted to wear balaclavas so that the customer could envision themselves in the garment rather than seeing their garment that should be theirs on a model. So we all wore balaclavas every time there was a customer photo. And then once we were putting those photos onto social media back in 2010, it just lit up.
We just run these auctions, like you'd basically, you'd put...
Cause say what size it is, say the colorway,
and you put it up. Whoever buys it first gets it.
Yeah.
It's just free for all.
Each post would create the next 10, 15 custom orders, and then you did another one and that would create the next 20 or 30 custom orders. So every one you made turned into a tree of 20, 30.
Because it sold out so fast that the 8 people, 10 people or 12 people or whatever that missed out,
they just got their own customers.
You just make another colorway.
It would take 2-3 hours to like knock one out, so you'd get 3 done a day. So yeah, it'd be sick if you're doing 15, 20 a week, but it probably took us 6 months to a year to be able to pump out 20 or 30 a week.
Well, that's when we started. Remember we got that Fareed guy and Michelle.
Yeah.
She actually started following us the other day.
True.
Yeah, I started talking to her. So funny.
It got too much pretty quick, and we realised that we couldn't make them in the workshop, and then we got subcontracted sewers and we taught them how to do the job. So we had like 2 or 3, and you'd give them 30 to 50 each a week, and then all of a sudden you're making like 100, 150 customs, and yeah.
Is this still in Mum's garage, or is this in Tottenham now?
That was still in the garage. Yeah, we were making a lot of customs in the garage. We just got better at it,
We refined the process. We started.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just got better at it. Yeah, we did. We just got better at it. And the sewers...
We were doing it every day. Like every single day, we were making hoodies for like...
Well, in between uni and stuff like that.
Yeah, in between uni. It was our downtime.
What did you guys do at uni?
I did industrial design, which is like product design. And Alex did fine arts.
Yeah, I did fine arts at VCA back in 2009 through to 2011, 2012, I suppose.
And was that fresh out of high school for both of you?
Yeah, I went fresh out of high school straight into VCA, did painting, obviously. Liked it, enjoyed it, but this sort of became my final year. This was like my graduation year. It was essentially Itch Big as a business, because we had to, as with all unis, the final block, you have to figure out a way to make some money out of... Monetize your work. So that's what Itch Big became for me. So my final year was clothes hanging,
Yeah, I remember the studio.
Around painting. It was pretty odd, but, and then we sort of blew it up after that,
Yeah. And I wasn't fresh out of high school. I'd already spent a year or so abroad snowboarding, just doing the instructor thing.
Yeah.
I did that for a while there. I'd already been to like Japan a couple of times, New Zealand, Canada a few times, and America as well with Alex. So, and I was doing industry-based learning as well at the time. So I was juggling my honours in industrial design, industry-based learning, and this as well. So it was pretty hectic. And then eventually, the general manager of this, I was working for an animatronics company, and the general manager basically said, like Nate, what are you doing here? Like, go do this Itch Big thing, give it a go. And it's arguably top 3 decisions of my life. Going full time at this and just going crazy at it.
So when did you kind of think we can make this work? Was that kind of the shift to Tottenham in 2012, or was
I'll tell you what made us think we could work. My mate Brandon's hood.
It's on your right.
That made us know that we could make it work.
OG Dark Ducks.
The first OG Dark Ducks colourway we did, that made me know that we could make it work, because when we put that up, there wasn't just like 2 or 3 people that wanted it. There was like hundreds of people that wanted it. And then we realized, hang on a second, we need to make a large amount of units out of one product SKU. And that's when...
We had that chat on the balcony.
That's when, yeah, we had a chat on the balcony about it. And
Brando was there, wasn't he?
He may have been, yeah. It might have even been the day we delivered it to him. But, yeah, we realised pretty quickly that some of the products we're producing, it wasn't necessarily the custom one of one aspect that people were liking. They were just liking the product full stop. And then we decided to sort of select, you know, specific pieces out of the customs that we were producing and go to... you know, a bulk production with it, and that's when we started seeing some serious growth. That was 2013 through to
that was
2015.
Super slow though. That was really like that crawled. That like the ready-made side of each pig was really like the little brother for a very long time. Like even when we got to Tottenham, I remember.
Yeah, well, we had to save up enough money to be able to buy 50 to 100 units of this through local Melbourne manufacturing, which is super pricey. So we had to save up enough money through the process of doing customs to be able to produce bulk, to move to bulk production. You don't just click your fingers and you're in bulk production. It takes a long time.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. That's how we afforded that first run of anoraks. Is we sold X amount of customs and put that profit into producing
ready-made.
Those first crews, those first anorak crews. I remember.
Yeah.
I think Christian was even in the photo.
I'm getting hammered by this.
Yeah. So you guys are still made in Melbourne?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
100%. 8% of our product, of our garment range is made in Melbourne. Unfortunately, even 2010, we were too late to sort of save the headwear industry here. Just there isn't machinery here anymore to produce hats here. Which is a shame.
People don't even know how to use the machinery, really.
No, there just isn't really the expertise here anymore, unfortunately. So, absolutely everything except hats. Even our beanies are knitted 2 blocks up the road. Socks are in Brunswick East.
And we tried doing, we did bucket hats here for a while as well.
Yeah, we did produce some custom bucket hats. That was good. But yeah, everything other than hats is been here since the start. Yeah.
And what made the choice to like make in Melbourne when you could, you know, obviously make overseas and make way more money?
I think relationships.
Yeah, relationships. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like the people that we deal with, like the guys that we bought this off, we're still dealing with them. They're our main manufacturer. Like
2010, the guy that owns this business came to my wedding. You know what I mean? So it's like relationships are super important to us. The very first day when we bought this $500 worth of dead stock off the maker, he was just like, I just knew straight away that we were going to have a really long-term relationship with him.
I didn't know that.
So,
yeah. The second time we came back in and asked for the dead stock again, then we got introduced to him because the woman that had served us at the start was like, oh, let me go get the boss man, you know, like these are the boys buying all this stuff. And then we kind of got to know them, and
because they loved us, we were buying stock that they couldn't move, and all of a sudden we, you know, put 3 or 4 hours work into it, and you know, it's a really good product. So they loved us. So yeah, we're local to build relationships for sure.
Well, and also it's that whole thing about, you know, like if someone wants to ask the question of how do I make a garment in Melbourne, there's someone here to answer that question, I guess. Yeah.
Am I getting hammered too much by this smoke?
I don't know, Theo, what do you reckon?
No,
What's the theory?
You're good.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I just got to just sit through it. I'm getting blitzed by it.
It's Kool-Aid. It's good.
Sure.
Sure.
There
Sammy.
it is.
Show goes on.
Show goes on. So at the start, I know you did your sizes in basketball sizing. What was the theory behind that?
It's just another crazy thing we did. Like, I remember when we started, we were so gnarly about every single piece of the business had to be different. It had to be unique. It had to be thought of. Everything we touched.
Everything needed weeks and weeks of meticulous thinking and arguing.
And justification and
into the finest detail of sizes. We were like, we don't want to use everyone else's sizes.
They're our sizes.
They're out of
created
date.
them.
They're our sizes. They're our blocks. They should be called our sizes and our fits. So we used basketball positions because we were tall The clothes were tall.
We were into basketball.
We were into basketball.
Like, that's a Lakers colorway right there.
Yeah, all of our colorways pulled out of, American sporting culture, really. So,
yeah.
We, obviously sneakers and, sports culture, pop culture.
So who's better at basketball then?
What's the question?
Well, it depends. If you
on
want
a team,
I'm better.
On a 5x5 team, I'd probably pick Nate.
But
I can't play on a 5x5 team. Exactly.
Well, he doesn't have a jump shot.
Well,
I'm more versatile.
Put me in the States maybe when I'm actually surrounded by tall, good players. But in Australia, I'm probably gonna have to play centre.
Power forward, yeah.
It's like I don't want to play 2-guard, 3-guard. Australia sucks with ball, man. I shouldn't say that.
No, boom is bronze next Olympics, surely.
I shouldn't say that. But domestic or rep ball.
Oh, it's just domestic. Yeah, domestic
it's like
rep.
Everyone's too short. It's like you have to play out of position.
When you're playing point guard on O and then centre on D, like that's just the classic.
But yeah, I'd probably pick Nate 5x5 if you're playing in Australia. 1-on-1 though, fuck. I've lost.
Who won? Yeah, who won in the backyard? Who wins in the backyard?
I think you win 60-70% of the time. I still win. It's not like I never win. Hey, I still used to win when we were playing horse out there.
What? Check the. If we start talking competition, this is going to turn into
yeah.
We should cut it there. We should cut it there.
Yeah, it'd be a dick measuring contest. People don't need to see that. Or they probably want to see that, but they're not.
That's probably going to be the next.
I guess this is my next question. A bit of competitive nature between the two of you. What are some of the ups and downs of running a business with your brother?
The ups, you can say anything. You can say
in any
anything.
format, in any type, and you can explode and bite back and say anything.
Yep, you can say anything.
And it will be forgiven. It will be forgiven within 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The downs?
Are there downs?
That's it right there. He doesn't even realise what the downs are. The downs are that we are not really brothers anymore.
No, yeah, it's hard to be brothers.
We're not.
But you were the best man at his wedding.
Yeah, that was funny. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was.
But that's because we're so close. We see each other. I would see Nate
more
than I see probably anyone outside of Trey and Jesse. I would probably see Nate more.
I would say I see you more than Araha.
Yeah, we are
it's
here.
It's no contest.
We are here working fucking like.
Not to mention
our hours.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess the downside is it's funny because you think it's easy because we know each other so well, but it's actually not the case. You actually have to put more work into the relationship because it's so easy to be so lazy with it, like...
Yeah, otherwise business just takes over.
Yeah, like, it's like, it's business takes over, like, it's rare that we say, oh, what did you get up to on the weekend to each other?
Yeah.
It's just, this thing is so consuming, it's so, like, it takes so much raw energy from him and I to just make this thing go around. Like, it's nuts.
So it brings me to my first follow-up question from Steve MC92.
Steve MC92. He asked us a question.
Were you all friends when you first started up?
Like us, or me and Nate? We've done a lot together. We've been friends for a very long time.
I guess the brand started with friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The first colorways we made were, both of our friendship circles in the local
It's funny, that black and orange BL, that's Ben Labachi. He bought a face mask the other day.
Oh, yeah. Some of these people will be buying right up to...
Brando's on the side of our bloody wall.
For sure, yeah. So, yes, friends.
Next question from Jaron Brittles.
Jaron
Bertles. Sorry, mate. Hardest part of starting up a brand and becoming well known?
Becoming well known. Are we well known?
I would say you are.
We are very well known in Australia. But...
I would say there's two parts to that. I would say back then, when we started, is a very different answer to what you would answer right now. So back then, the hardest part, I would say the biggest thing was like legitimizing ourselves. The one thing about us is when we started, we always talked about it like it was a company, like it was a legit thing. We were seriously gnarly,
You gotta make it legit from the get-go.
We were so gnarly about it. And I guess I remember our friends kind of sniggering, not sniggering, but there was hints of sniggering going on because they were like, oh, what are these guys doing? You know, they're just running this thing out there. Like, it's not actually going to go anywhere.
So it's authenticity. That's the hardest thing at the start. Making people believe that your product is authentic. Our product was authentic from the get-go because it had so many hours and so much blood, sweat and tears into it.
And it was ours.
And it was ours. But it wasn't authentic from the sense of like, it wasn't a perfectly refined garment. It wasn't a well-executed hoodie or crew neck or t-shirt. It wasn't authentic. It took years to get our product and our garments to be authentic.
Even the brand message was not like, it was kind of
diluted,
that notion of like, you know, obviously most people know the story of, you know, we were going to call it One Pig because it was based around, you know, like, we were called Powder Pigs in Japan, or we were going to do that Powder Pig versus Jib Pig thing, and then we said, no, it's One Pig because it's whatever you're into. Don't stress about what other people think.
And it was us sort of coming together.
What's One Pig?
So One Pig now refers to, you know, the relentless progression fueled by hunger thing. So, you know, the one is got turned into Itch because that's the decision we decided to make because we're in Japan to kind of pay homage to the trip, I guess. And the pig is the relentless hunger. But
we always got called sort of pigs though because we just went so hard at things. Like even in anything when we were traveling, snowboarding and stuff, we would be the first up every single day. We'd be the last to leave every single day. We just wouldn't stop. Nate he's a machine. He doesn't stop. And you know, I was sort of following suit with him, and it wasn't just our work ethic back in the days up there. It was sort of our work ethic with everything we did, whether it was basketball, snowboarding, or you know, Nate with skating, or you know, me with painting and some of my art that I was doing when I was a bit younger. We just went hard at it, and that was the aspect of the pig. We were hungry. We ate everything in front of us, and then Ichi was the regimented counter for one in Japanese, and it was both of us coming together as one, and that was sort of One Pig turned into Itch Pig.
But even then,
I don't know how we got to that,
but yeah, I mean that was the thing. Like even back, it took us. When did we come up with the relentless progression thing?
No, like authenticity. That was the question, right?
Yeah, no, it was
How did you? What was the original question?
It was kind of answering the next question.
No, because he was saying about what was the hardest thing in the beginning. Like
hardest
thing in the beginning was authenticity.
And I was saying how like there was years where we didn't even understand how to define ourselves as a brand.
We were learning. We were young, man. Like we were just working. We were just working as hard as we could to make the sickest products that we could. So that's simple.
Next question from Braden Stairman. I'd love to manufacture in Australia. Any advice? Also, you should do an early days IP vid.
Yep. Absolutely. We were talking to Theo the other day about getting some of our old content up. That'll be coming, so keep tuned for that. But any advice for manufacturing in Australia? Save up some substantial bank because people in this country get paid a fair wage. You got to get ready to pay them a good amount of money because it has to be fair trade, has to be ethical. The fabrics and the materials that you're sourcing, the majority of the production of those need to be done here as well. Don't just think about the manufacturing of the garment. So save up and figure out exactly what you want to do, and then
make sure you have a unique idea.
Yeah, point of difference.
That's the biggest problem is that I find is people don't understand what a unique selling point is. They just put something else that's already out there.
Yeah, a lot of people get into the rag trade because they see something that they like and then they're like, I can do that. Well, if someone's already doing that, you have to do something that no one's doing. We created these hoodies because we couldn't find them. If there was someone else making these 100 hoodies, I probably would have just bought them and wore them. But there weren't, so we had to make them. If you're not making something new and innovative that isn't out there and doesn't exist...
That people want.
Yeah, especially at the start. It's pivotal at the start when you don't have a core range, you don't have staples, you don't have
a brand name.
You don't have a brand, you just got product and it has to be new and innovative,
So next question from Andrew Franklin. Favourite Itch Pig piece of all time? We'll start with Nate.
I know Andrew quite well.
Give him a shout out.
What's up?
You're more, what's the word? You're more, I don't know what the word is. It'll come to me. But you answer this question.
Oh, then we'll get to you.
Then I'll figure out the word.
My favourite Itch Pig piece of all time. So I always struggle to define this because it means the one you wear the most, or what you like the best, or
what were you most proud of, maybe?
yeah, what are you most proud of? I mean, I obviously love our full kits. I think they're just the best. I fizz them. I really fizz them.
Yeah, anything matching head to toe, Nate, cops.
I'm always about it. I think they're the best. There's that one we did, that first Sprinter Storm one we did where it was black, green, purple and red with the head to toe that you could wear at the snow. That was
pretty tough.
so sick. I still have that one. I've held on to that one for a while now. I'm not sure I'll ever resell that one. I really like that one.
You're more nostalgic than I am, though. I don't really create an emotional connection with.
You're a perfectionist though, because you see the flaws in it. You see that. Well, I mean,
sometimes we release things I'm not 100% satisfied or stoked with it.
But that's the relentless hunger thing. That's the chasing that thing. But yeah, I would say that I really like the cargo spray pants. I reckon they're just amazing for skating.
Yeah.
And I really like the players tops, like the mesh tees that we do. Yeah. They're so sick.
For me, it's probably anything that makes a noise, like anything ripstop, anything woven, anything spray.
That's so unstealth. Like the stealth aspect is just gone.
Those storm jackets we did was sick. Storm Tex.
They
were epic. Man, that was pretty crazy. We did that. Like we were like, in year 5 or year 6, and we produced a hectically technical jacket.
And anything box 90 fit. Cruise.
I actually like the ripstocks because I can hear you coming and then I can look busy when
Absolutely.
you walk in. Quick. So next question from Paul MLB. Shout out to Paul.
MLB.
Which bro has the most IP pieces and how many? Would you say that's the Office Boys?
Office Boys. We move our stock because
we don't really sit on it heaps.
Nah. We rotate our stock through. Yeah. So like in terms of what old pieces do we hold on to, we got a few for sure. Some tech jackets.
I've got the last jumper I ever made. I've got that still. The last one I ever sewed.
Auction off $10,000.
That will be worth a lot of money in 5 more years' time.
Maybe not.
That brings me to my next question from Brock Horsnail.
Yeah.
To what extent do you see the Itchpig brand growing within the next 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. 5 years, 2 years?
5 years. 5 years internationally recognised for sure.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
2 years. What's 2 years? Bigger factory. We're
I think new location in 2 years.
Yeah, new location. This factory's fresh. We've done a really good job here. I'm really happy with all the work that all the boys have put in, making this place sick. The park's dope. The ring's really fresh. The office is fresh.
It'd be nice to not have like the park in the middle of the ring and we can play proper pickup and stuff like that.
Yeah. You can actually drive left-handed.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to drive left, yeah.
Yeah, work on that.
Probably 2 years is a new factory, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We're opening up more manufacturing lines here in Melbourne. We've currently kind of got a handful of manufacturers, but we're looking to diversify and open up new manufacturers, which will probably involve training new sewers, training new cutters, training a new team of people, which would be sick to give back to the industry and help grow it. So yeah, probably more manufacturers here in Melbourne and a new space. That's 2 years, yeah?
I would say so, yeah.
That's 2 years. Yeah. And Trey will be a little bit older.
Yeah. I think, and probably starting to plant the seeds of maybe, getting that international spread.
International, yeah.
So, next question from James Walsh is what countries other than Oz is Itchpig most popular in currently?
James Walsh, he's been a customer forever.
I think so. I think if it's who I'm thinking.
Give him a shout out.
I just did.
I wonder if it is it.
I just did.
I'm pretty sure James lives in Williamstown. If it's who I'm thinking of.
Actually, it's quite a common name. There may be multiple.
I know like 3 James Walshes.
If it's who I'm thinking of.
What was the question? Sorry, James Walsh.
What countries other than Australia is Itchpig most popular?
New Zealand.
Sure.
Big, huge in New Zealand.
New Zealand. We're there in the UK.
We're there in UK.
America, Canada.
Yep. Snow towns, obviously. British Columbia, BC.
BC, shout out.
BC.
First overseas trip by myself. Scared the shit out of myself.
Yeah, obviously anywhere that's cold. Oh, what about our Denmark push?
Oh yeah.
That's a weird one.
Denmark.
We've got like
Good Danes.
We've got like this circle crew of in Denmark that cops like every main fleecy release.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some orders
Yeah.
in Germany a bit as well.
Denmark, Germany, yeah.
So slowly getting your fingers.
Yeah, it's always sort of been there, but we don't push it hard enough. So that's sort of the next thing. Yeah.
Lachlan Rinaldi asked, do you plan on having any more stores across Oz?
At the moment,
Well, at the moment, no.
no.
There's this COVID-19 thing happening.
COVID has changed the game of retail. But we pulled out of retail like 2016. We had Chapel Street moving. We had Perth. We had Brunswick and our factory store. We had like 3 or 4 stores through 2014 through to like 2017. And we made the call to just pull it right back and just hit online, which I think was the right call. We've still got our factory store here in Brunswick just for locals to come and try gear on. But I think it's online, man. Like,
Yeah.
pop-ups. Once all this COVID stops, we'll get back to doing our pop-ups. We used to love pop-ups in the city, in CBD, pop-up in Perth.
Tattoo conventions.
All the conventions, all the expos. Sneaker Freaker expos we used to do. Yeah. I think it's a combination of online plus pop-ups.
Well, and there's only so many
For
hours.
us.
Time is finite, you know. Like, what do you want to put your energy into? Making epic fresh garments or having
Or
stores all
opening
over
stores.
Australia? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing with a lot of other brands. Like, because we do everything. You know, we do. You know, Alex runs production and design. I run the selling. Then we run the marketing kind of together and the
Yeah.
content. Like,
It's
we do
pretty time
everything.
consuming.
Then you're just talking about managing a distro of stores. It's nuts.
Yeah. I'd rather focus on designing better product, working with our creative team to sort of display that product the best that it can be displayed, and focusing on continuing to build local industry here rather than bricks and mortar stores. Yeah.
So, next question, Marley Joyce asks, why don't you guys make clothes for small people? I'm 5'2" and just want some pants.
5'2" wanting pants is that's a hard
That's,
one.
yeah, but my girl,
That's a hard
Araha's
one.
tiny and she's like 5 foot 48 kilos or something like that, and she wears the small and track pants and it's sweet. It looks fine. I agree it's not a fitted look, but it looks good on her.
We want to open up like an alterations aspect to the brand for like recycling garments and upcycling older stuff. So in that once that's set up, we'll be able to, Marley, for instance, will be able to purchase size small, add some order nodes, add an upcycling fee to the order, and then we'll repurpose that size to better suit her. So that's sort of coming. It's in the works.
It's time though.
It's time though. Yeah. Yep.
We've got a lot of things to get through to get to that.
Yeah, we're a small team, and we just got to slowly keep building towards.
Jesse 8 asks, favourite album? We're at Alex first.
Music album.
Yeah.
Music album.
One I got
2010 Vardo, Slime Flu 1, Slime Flu 1, Slime Flu 2, Slime Flu 3, Slime Flu 4, Slime Flu 5.
Is he speaking English?
No, 5 went on to
You
Sinatra.
serious? That was like,
2010 was in the workshop. That was, that got us through this.
well, people don't realise like that Large on the Streets tee that blew up. That's a Vardo
That's a
song.
Vardo song, Large on the Streets. So,
Look it up, YouTube. It's fresh. It's a fresh song.
yeah.
Who's Vardo?
He's Dipset. He's
Yeah,
kind of on the outside of Dipset. Pretty much for me, anything Dipset. Jim Jones, Joel Santana, 40 Cal back in the day.
Harlem.
Anything from Harlem. I don't know. Me and some of my mates have just got it.
So you and Ez love that
a
stuff.
factuation with Dipset, really. So for me, it'd be Vardo. 2010 is when it came out. Slime Flu 1. Polo is on that. Rugby Down. If you don't know Rugby Down, it's a fresh track.
I remember all those songs.
2010. That's what we ran in the workshop. That's what kept us going. I also like the fact that, sorry I'm going on here, but I could talk about Dipset all day. But they never got the notoriety. They never hit the charts. They never got noticed. But they never stopped making music. Like, Vardo made 4 Slime Flu albums. He made, I think, 3 or 4 Sinatra albums after that. In 10 years, he hammered out 10 albums and a whole bunch of mixtapes. So they just kept going, and they never ever got noticed, and they'll just kept working underground, and that was, I don't know, it just kept us working in some of the dark factories that we've had to hammer out some product and make tough decisions. It's good to know that like other people were doing it as well, I suppose. Yeah. What about you?
I'd probably say Metallica, Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, Nate loves his rock. Metallica, that's a good album though.
And Justice for All. That's a really good album too. But I think Nas Illmatic's pretty hard to go past. Or like, you know, Biggie Ready to Die. They're pretty hard to go past.
I like Metallica. I reckon that's a goer.
Wow, Kill 'Em All is probably my favourite for sure. That's got probably a couple of my favourite all-time songs. Four Horsemen, that's a sick song.
Can I play any of those on Guitar Hero?
You play One.
One on Guitar Hero.
That's one of their famous songs about the soldier that turns into a stump.
That's right.
Because he gets his arms, legs blown off. The video clip's really sick.
It's like 8 minutes.
Who's better at Guitar Hero? Are you tap guy?
He was decent at guitar.
Tap guy?
Oh, bro, me on Guitar Hero, it's embarrassing. I don't even want to talk about it. Break it. You gotta get a new guitar to break the buttons off. He was good at guitar, but I don't know, Guitar Hero is pretty up there. Like, what do you want me to say, man? I can play songs on Guitar Hero that he couldn't play on guitar, so it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
So Jacob Romesh asks, favourite shoe of all time?
Oh man, that's a hard one.
Man.
5% easy, actually.
Foams for you.
Yeah, I've got a couple
style.
of foams.
He's got a weird taste though. His taste is like, you know, it's got very wide taste.
I like foamies. They're the best for me.
For me, any classic silhouette, MX1, Jordan 1.
Oh, Jordan 4's pretty hard to beat.
Cortez, Forza Fresh, yeah. Prestos, obviously.
Cortez is a dope too, and Presto, you're right.
Prestos, definitely. Yeah. Any classic silhouette that stood the test of time. I mean, you can dive deep into like real specific, rare silhouettes, but if it hasn't sort of stood the test of time...
Those silver bullets you have are fresh. They're dope.
Yeah. I mean, 97s are nice, but like MX1s, Jordan 1s, to keep it simple. Yeah.
I don't really like Jordan 1s, I'm not going to lie. I never have.
Cortezes, because they're really uncomfortable, but still fresh. Yep.
So what were some streetwear brands that you looked up to when you were starting? Or did you have any, or...?
We probably didn't then. We had nothing then. Then it was just
was
colorways.
Well, you know, I was wearing things like Volcom and Special Blend and stuff, like snowboarding brands.
We were skaters and snowboarders. Like, we weren't we didn't grow up as like streetwear, fashion-focused kids. Like,
we always liked clothes though. I remember always like on the hunt. Like, I think when we used to go to those
op shops and stuff,
those Globe sales and stuff.
Yeah,
we just go and rinse them.
Yeah, it was different back then. 2010, like, it wasn't, you know, like, you weren't on the net like hunting down all this like hype gear and all this shit. Like, you were just, all of this stuff was pulled off. None of it was pulled off clothing influences. It was all pulled off cultural influences. Everything was pulled off NBA teams, college teams, university teams, sneakers. Nothing was pulled off clothing. None of this was ever pulled off clothing. Like, yeah, it was all pulled off cultural references. So, I don't know, what were our streetwear inspirations growing up?
Alphanumeric we kind of like.
Alphanumeric, absolutely, yeah.
They were pretty cool. That really old skate brand. And
Yeah.
like, what else? I always like Ease, like Etnies Specials. They're a shoe company.
Yeah, Ease, chocolate. We would wear chocolate. It was just skate brands of like the early 2000s, really.
So when did skateboarding like come into Itchfield? Has it always been there, or?
It's always been in the background. Every single place we've built a park, right? Toddy, we built a park. Here we've built a better park. And the next place will probably end up concrete pouring an even better park.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have a concrete park. Oh my god.
That would be rad.
It's going to be on, Theo.
Nate never stopped. He never stopped skating. He kept skating throughout the whole brand. It's just, we were so busy building this brand that you weren't out there skating. You were just always skating.
Yeah, I mean, it's that classic thing of like, I skated my whole life, and so did Alex. Like, you guys have all seen Alex land kickflips on ice.
We can't put that in. I was a useless skater. For the record.
Cue the footage.
For the record,
Roll the footage.
I was a useless skater.
Remember that time? Remember that time you hurt your back? What was that about? I remember you kickflipped off something like a two-stair into grass, and your back just went nuts.
I probably kickflipped off a gutter and landed on a rock and ate shit because I was terrible at skateboarding.
I was a terrible skater too, but like, I don't know, like, I got okay. Like, I think I've ollied Parliament 10. That was one of my claims to fame. Not that it's anything to be impressed about, but I did that.
That's pretty scary.
I did that as a 14-year-old kid.
I wouldn't jump down 10. I probably wouldn't run. I probably wouldn't run down Parliament 10. I'd like...
But you know, like I've got friends that would
lunges. I'd do weighted lunges. I'd do weighted lunges down.
Yeah, but not at 70 because you
not at 70.
80 Monday.
We're doing 80.
We're doing 80 Monday.
Stay on track. What was the question?
Skating. Yeah, I mean, it kind of slowed up probably at about age 18 for me. But then snowboarding came along, and that became the first thing I really I chased that pretty hard. Like I loved that.
And then once we hired AJ, the GM. Then skating really kicked back up again because then he sort of brought back in that lifeblood of skate culture back in.
When Itch Pig was in its real infancy, Itch Pig started back up again and word started getting around. Naturally, you know, skaters are kind of at one of the core groups at the lifeblood of street culture or whatever. So a group of my friends kind of ended up hearing about us, and I started skating again because I guess it was more accessible than snowboarding. Because by that stage, like when Itch Pig started, I'd lived in New Zealand, Canada twice, Japan, and America. We'd done together.
I did the States as well, Colorado.
Yeah. So by that stage, like I was like, oh, I want to get back into skating, and I decided to make my skateboarding imitate how I would want to snowboard, and my skating imitate the snowboarding or whatever. So I kind of made a pretty considered effort. How's this, Theo? When Itch Pig started 10 years ago, I could not rock the fakie, legit. I couldn't skate tranny at all. How wild is that? Like,
wild to me.
Nerd.
It's crazy.
Nerd.
It's crazy. Like, so I committed myself to make myself a better skater, and I guess skating's just kind of come more and more into it as we've gotten more people, and like I said, AJ coming on board kind of really upped my ante. And now I'm obsessed with it again. I'm probably more addicted to skating than I ever have been at any point in my life, and I'm actually a better skater right now than I have been at any point in my life, which is weird to say that at 32 years old. And the snowboarding's kind of fizzed.
Well, it's good. The season got killed. We're gonna have a bloody ski short.
Well, it's also like at some point, like where we got to in snowboarding, it's like you gotta. Like at some point,
just a lot of work, man. It's a lot of time.
Well, and to get really good at it, it's like the handrails are really, really big, and the jumps are really, really scary. Like knuckling.
Yeah, it's big consequences.
Knuckling a 50-foot jump, like that's a season ender. That's it. You're off for 2 or 3 months.
Surgery.
Yeah. My ankle's still wrecked. You hurt your knee. I had
stone. It was.
I had arthroscope on my knee from mucking up a spin off a jump. Like. Yeah.
Next cue.
Coming back to skateboarding, have you ever thought about producing a Itch Pig skate clip?
Yeah.
In the works.
That will come eventually, I think.
It's going to come.
That will come.
It's definitely going to come. The team's growing, and, you know, we're sort of on the cusp of putting together a team. So I think that's probably in the 2-year plan, I reckon.
Yeah, that would be in the 2-year plan to
put together a clip. Yeah, for sure.
So what's the worst part of the job and the best part of the day?
The worst part of the job.
Worst part of the job.
Worst part of the job.
Production issues for me. You know what it is? For me, it's the small production wins. You probably hear me at my desk, you know, when I get a little win, it's the small little victories. But the adverse effect of that is, when you get a problem in production, they're the worst parts for me. You know, you think you've got X amount of labels and you're actually half short because you forgot you moved labels over there, and then all of a sudden a product line is out of labels. They're my nightmares. Yeah. No.
Worst part of my day.
It's probably a bit boring, but it's the truth. It's honest.
No, it's good, but it leads me to my next question.
Okay, cool.
Worst part of the day for me would probably be... I don't know anymore. I enjoy what we do. I mean, I really, really like
that. When you take an order for stock that we haven't got.
Yeah, that sucks. I guess the worst part of the day for me is, you know, it's probably the worst is when that customer hits you up saying, I've been sent the wrong thing, and I've either mucked up the order or someone shipped out the wrong thing. That's the worst part of that. That sucks. That's frustrating. It's annoying. Or like,
It happens.
actually,
There's no way around it. There's human error. We're not robots. We're not Amazon with laser beams like scanning the freaking factory. Like, we're human beings, and unfortunately there's an error rate. But when it's a really good customer, it hurts a lot more because they have put a lot of trust into us.
yeah.
And they've spent a lot of their hard-earned money with us, and when you make a mistake on one of their orders, that hurts the whole team.
I would probably say also, like, when you get that person, that not the worst part, but it's frustrating when people say, oh, you know, you're overpriced, your shit's more expensive than Nike. It's like, no shit. Of course we're more expensive than Nike.
How can we be competitive price points with Nike? It's like, I shouldn't say I don't know how people's minds think, but yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Best part of the day is like, I don't know, just...
You have a lot of fun. You have probably the most fun out of everyone, so I think you probably have a lot of good parts about you.
Yeah, I mean, skating every morning is sick. Like, I'm doing stuff on the skateboard now that, like, just before I landed something that I've wanted to do for literally 30 years. Like, I fizzed that. I mean, we've got a gym here now, we've got a sick team.
We've got a squat rack.
We've got a squat rack.
And Fez's gym.
And Fez's gym.
Fez's gym.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I get to hang out with my brother all day. We wear our own clothes. Like we like if we want something, we just design it. The best part for me is, yeah, it's hard. I fizz so much stuff. Even simple things when people like hit you up for that first time, they say, "Dude, this is the best hoodie I've ever worn." And you're just like, "Yes."
Yeah,
that's
good.
sick. Like,
that's
you know how happy they are. You know how that's going to change. It's actually going to change their life. They're going to be more confident. They're going to feel more fresh. Like, it's just sick. I love changing people's lives.
I like when a new product SKU comes in and all of the staff just rush for the boxes before I've even pulled them out of the van. That's when I know.
Jasper's usually sniffing around it like 2 days before it even comes into stock.
Jasper's like sniffing around. Like,
Hey Alex.
When's that core zip coming in? When's that crew neck coming in? And then everyone's asking me every freaking day leading up to the delivery. They're good days because then when you drop the boxes and it's just a feast, I'm like, this is going to be a heater of a product. So yeah, I like those days as well. I like those days. Yeah.
Yeah. There's heaps of good stuff. It's like I could go like Alex with Dipset. I could go on about the good stuff forever.
Execute.
Last question. What are we training tonight?
What are we training tonight?
Yeah. What are we? I think I'm going to jump in with you guys.
Tonight's press, isn't it? Press night.
Press night.
Shoulders. We'll do a shoulders compound, so a seated overhead press.
What about some leg stuff thrown in there so that I can join in?
Who's this guy?
I've got deads. We got deads on Friday.
Yeah,
tomorrow's rest.
Can we do deads tomorrow?
Why don't we do deads today?
We can do deads tomorrow.
Let's do deads tomorrow.
I like the Friday night session.
Today.
I like the Friday night session.
Yeah, we still do Friday night.
But we got like shit. Like I skate on Saturday,
and I don't really care about skating. I don't care about fucking.
He doesn't care about anyone. Like I'm like, let's train, and I go and he's already warming up without me. It's like, all right, bro. Whatever.
Why don't I do legs with you guys tomorrow?
Yeah,
deads.
We'll deads tomorrow.
Deads.
Deads is legs.
Yeah, deads is legs.
I can do deads as my first thing, and I'll break off and do my other thing. Or what do you guys usually do with deads?
Deads. We walk up to a bar, we pick it up, and then we put the bar down. Then we do that for a few repetitions, a couple of sets.
But then what's the accessory work off that?
Oh, RDLs.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
Pull-ups.
Lunges?
Turns into a bit of a back day. Not lunges, that's on the quad day.
Alex is scared of lunges.
Oh, lunge. I'm happy to lunge.